J.Lo's first husband is finally speaking out for the first time since Diddy got arrested, blaming Diddy for his divorce and calling J.Lo out for attending Diddy's parties. While speaking on a recent episode of the Spanish talk show Despierta America, Ojani Noah explained how the divorce came shortly after J.Lo began working with Diddy in New York on her debut album, while he was in Los Angeles working at J.Lo's Pasadena restaurant Madres. Ojani and J.Lo first met in 1996 while he was working as a waiter in Gloria Stefani's Miami restaurant. At the time, J.Lo had bagged some roles in movies like Money Train and was in the middle of shooting Blood and Wine. However, Ojani claims that he didn't know who she was at the time. There were many times I felt like Mr. Cinderella. She was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. In the beginning, I had no idea who she was, Ojani revealed in a 2022 interview with Daily Mail. He then continued by saying, "We fell in love when she was already famous, but during our marriage, she became a megastar. For years, it was too painful to talk about. I wanted to lie low and live my life." Their first kiss was shared at the Blood and Wine rap party, and the two would later spend the next few weeks talking on the phone. It didn't take long for their friendship to grow into a full-blown relationship, which seemed perfect at the time. However, everything changed when J.Lo landed a role in the movie Selena.
"I know who you are. I come from the streets. I know what a bum musician is.
Dad, don't talk to him like that.
I can say anything I want to say to him."
According to Ojani, she went from Jen to being J.Lo, this big business bringing in millions. She had all these people around her, all wanting to make money off her. I would call, an assistant would say, "Sorry, she's not available." The two would eventually get married on February 28th of 1997 in a friend's back garden in Miami. However, the marriage started on a very rocky foundation. Shortly after this, pictures of J.Lo and Diddy started surfacing on the internet, and it wasn't just because Diddy was producing her album. As soon as Ojani saw the pictures, he contacted J.Lo, asking why she was going on dates with Diddy, and she responded by claiming that it was just business. "This is what I'm being told I have to do." The situation became even more complicated after J.Lo apparently informed her then husband that she didn't want to have kids just yet, as that would damage her career. This was contrary to their initial plans, and of course, it didn't sit well with Ojani. While the two seemed like a happy couple during their 1997 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Ojani claims he was asked to fake it. "Oprah knew we were having problems. I was sitting in the audience and thought Oprah would come to me because we had talked about it beforehand." Oprah said to Jen, "I hear you guys are having problems." With that beautiful face and that beautiful smile, Jen said, "No, everything is amazing," or something like that. However, everything wasn't amazing, as the two ended up getting a divorce in January of 1998, less than a year after they got married. According to sources, Ojani got a settlement of about $50,000 for the divorce, and J.Lo even hired him to work at her new restaurant, although she would eventually fire him 6 months later. Shortly after their announcing her divorce, J.Lo officially began dating Diddy, which kinda confirms Ojani's story to an extent. This wasn't the end though. According to Ojani, who was also an actor, J.Lo would allegedly block him from getting gigs, constantly shutting off his source of income. I would ask Jennifer, "What did I do to you so that you have taken me to court, you have accused me, you have lied, you've created false things about me, and you've called several companies to throw me out and different television networks to not give me work?" However, she never really offered any explanations. It was only a matter of months after her divorce was finalized before J.Lo and Diddy became the it couple of the entertainment industry. What started off as a business relationship between an artiste and a music executive soon evolved into something more. In September of 1999, the two made their first public appearance as a couple at the MTV VMAs, and the media couldn't get enough of them.
I didn't like him at all. I didn't. I thought he was like, ick. I didn't like him because, Sean and I were very different that way,
Remember that one time J.Lo wore her iconic green Versace dress? Yeah, she was with Diddy at the time, and the two were the talk of the town. However, the relationship was also short-lived, as by February of 2001, the two had decided to go their separate ways. As news of the breakup hit the media, everyone was shocked to see their favorite industry couple split. While fans of the couple tried to figure out what led to the breakup, it turns out Diddy didn't want to keep it in his pants. "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I never caught him, but I just knew. He said he would go into a club for a couple of hours and then never come back that night," J.Lo revealed. The relationship wasn't all shades of sunshine though. In December of 1999, J.Lo got into trouble with the law following a shooting incident at the New York City nightclub.
Days of deliberations, the jury now appears to be focusing on the gun possession and bribery charges against Sean Puffy Combs. This afternoon, jurors sent the judge 2 notes.
As the story goes, Diddy, J.Lo, his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, and bad boy rapper Shine were hanging out at this nightclub when someone spilled a drink on Diddy. Apparently, an altercation broke out, shots were fired, and the 4 ended up getting arrested. J.Lo had helped Diddy carry his gun into the club, just like Cassie also stated in her lawsuit, and would later pass it to him after the fight broke out. While the 2 immediately fled the scene, they were eventually caught by the cops, who found Diddy's gun on J.Lo. Although she was detained, J.Lo was never charged, but as for Diddy, he was slammed with weapons and bribery charges, although he was later acquitted in 2001. Was this part of the reason why she decided to quit the relationship though? Maybe or maybe not. But did J.Lo attend Diddy's parties is the question. According to an inside source, she was actually at a couple, although it is unclear whether these were regular parties or freak-offs. Speaking on Diddy and J.Lo, celebrity photographer Selma Fonseca, who attended about 20 to 30 Diddy parties, claimed that she saw J.Lo at more than a couple of times at these parties. Dating Diddy was one of the most challenging times of J.Lo's life, according to the singer and the people around her. In her documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, she talked about how people she used to trust put her in situations that could have destroyed everything she built, saying, "There were people in my life who said, 'I love you,' and then didn't do things that were kinda in line with the word love. You have to hit rock bottom when you're in situations so uncomfortable and so painful that you finally go, 'I don't want to do this anymore.' Being thrown around and manhandled like that is not fun. I was never in a relationship where I got beat up, but thank God, I definitely been manhandled and a couple of unsavory things. Rough, disrespectful." While she never mentioned Diddy specifically, the details in Cassie's lawsuit offer a glimpse into how Diddy treated the women in his life. So it's safe to say that J.Lo's experience wasn't entirely different. Sources close to J.Lo revealed that Diddy was very controlling during the relationship, saying, "He was very controlling. He would constantly put her in uncomfortable situations. He always had guns and money in the car. This is a good girl from the Bronx who never got into any trouble or was wild." Although the source admitted that Diddy never put his hands on Cassie, Diddy was still reportedly controlling and demanding, which may have played a role in her decision to leave him. After her relationship with Diddy came to an end, J.Lo moved on with choreographer Chris Judd, who directed Her Love Doesn't Cost a Thing music video. And just like Ojani, the relationship moved at a fast pace. By September of 2001, the two had tied the knot. However, the marriage only lasted a few months, as the two would later get divorced in July of 2002. Speaking about the relationship in a 2014 interview with US Weekly, Chris revealed that the reason the marriage didn't last was because he had trouble being connected with such a high-profile personality. After Chris and Jenny got divorced, she found love with actor Ben Affleck, and so Bennifer was born. The two had first met on the set of their movie Geely in 2001. While everyone could see their on-screen chemistry, it didn't take long for it to translate into real life. Soon, the two became the most famous couple in Hollywood, and by 2002, they were engaged. For their engagement, Ben reportedly got J.Lo a 6-carat pink diamond engagement ring from Harry Winston, costing about $2.5 million. Due to the media frenzy that surrounded the wedding, it was postponed multiple times, and eventually it never happened as the two finally broke up in 2004. However, they managed to remain friends over the years, and would end up rekindling the relationship years later, but we'll get into that in a minute. After this big breakup though, Jenny found love again with Puerto Rican salsa singer Marc Anthony, and they would eventually have a secret wedding in 2004. Fast forward to 2008 and the couple welcomed twins Max and Emmy. However, the relationship also didn't last very long, and they ended up breaking up in 2011. Jenny has dated quite a few people since then, including her backup dancer Casper Smart, Drake, and A-Rod. And then finally, in 2021, she reunited with Ben Affleck. It all started after a picture of the couple hanging out for the first time in many years, but nobody expected them to pull a surprise wedding ceremony in July of 2022. But of course, they had to have an extravagant wedding in Georgia the next month. Unfortunately, that also didn't last long, as J.Lo would eventually file for divorce on August 20th of 2024, bringing Bennifer to a final close. As soon as Diddy was arrested, Ojani took to Instagram to comment on the situation and exonerate himself from Diddy's illegal activities, saying, "I'm not on the list." To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of shit freak-off parties, No and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J.Lo, did. Ask her. Ojani then continued by suggesting that J.Lo had some explicit recordings of herself and Sean Combs, which are now with the feds. J.Lo, on the other hand, has not commented on the case, nor has she reacted to Ojani's statement.